Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this video, I wanted to talk about this boat right here. This is my 2025 Phoenix 920 Elite. You know, I just got reunited with it after being up in Connecticut for 3 weeks and just got a bunch of rods rigged up, and so we're ready for some fall fishing. But if you guys have been following, you know, my ownership of this boat over the last year, you probably saw some videos me talking about how I'm going to keep this one for 2 or 3 years and then sell it. Usually I flip these boats every year, and that was the intention going into this season. But after the final open on Leech Lake, I was like, man, I finished the season so early, I might as well try to sell this boat. So that's what we're going to do. We've got it posted on Bass Boat Central for $79,000, and this thing is incredibly loaded. I mean, and it's also the cleanest tournament boat that I've sold, and the reason for that is because it's underused. I mean, I've only used it for 5 events, 4 opens and the St. Jude Bass Classic. And if you think about it, the 5 opens, we had 5 days that we didn't fish. They got canceled. So really didn't fish out of it all that much as far as tournament fishing this year. So whoever buys it is getting a super clean boat. In fact, I'll show you the skeg here. That's always a good, you know, test for how it was used. You can see here, it's just, there's no dents or chunks or anything like that. Prop looks great. Same thing there. Just sandblasted paint, you know, which you can't get around. So very lightly used. But anyways, before we get into this boat specifically, I want to just kind of talk about the 920 Elite versus what I used to run over the last 5 or 6 years, which was the 921 Elite. I always choose the Elite for a couple reasons. I just feel like it has a really good layout for me. I don't like the Elite 2 as much, just because I like having that one big box in the center, as opposed to like 2 lids. But the Elite is great. It's got plenty of space. The gunnels are a little bit shorter than like the PHX models, which I think is pretty beneficial. You're actually raised up an inch. For my style of fishing, you know, flipping and pitching, the last thing I want to do, one of my biggest pet peeves, is like pitching a jig into the side of the gunnel when I go to pitch. So, so honestly, it's a small thing when it comes to you know, those differences, but I really do like the Elite series. So anyways, let's talk about the 920 versus the 921, because that's the question I get from most people. Because my biggest thing that led me to going to a 20-foot boat again was that I'm a shallow water power fisherman. I like getting up dirt shallow. I like occasionally having to pull out the push pole and move around. And the 21-footer just was not as nimble or shallow drafting. And it was pretty hard to push pole, and getting in and out of docks and weaving around cover and stuff like that. You know, I felt like it could have been better. So we ended up going to the 20-foot version for that reason specifically, and also speed. Those were the 2 things that I was focused on. But the 2 things that I was worried about were the rough water ride, so the difference in the rough water ride, and the storage situation, because the 921 has a little bit extra storage specifically in the center box here, but it's just like a step. It's not like, I don't think you can add any more 3700 in the usual like tackle trench there. There's just like a step in the front that the 921 has versus the 920, which I could hardly ever reach anyways, and I'm 6'2", so if I can't hardly reach what I put on that step, I don't think you know, somebody who's 5'10" or something can do that very well. But anyways, yeah, that was one thing that I was worried about. But honestly, as far as storage, no worries there. I still pack this thing full of tackle, so I haven't had any issues with in regards to that. I think the day box is a little bit smaller too, which you know, I have noticed a little bit because I put all my soft plastics in there, and so it's a little bit smaller, but not too notable. As far as the rough water ride though, that also was surprising. I really expected the rough water ride to be much less desirable in the 20-foot version versus the 21, but honestly, I haven't noticed a whole lot. It may be a little bit wetter if you're in following waves, and like 4+ footers. And the only reason for that is 21-foot boats versus 20-foot boats tend to bridge the gap between one wave to the next a little bit better. So this boat can, theoretically be a little bit wetter. You might stuff a couple waves, but I mean, I was at Leech Lake, and it was super rough. One of the roughest days I've ever had out in a tournament. And I was beating guys to the south end of the lake. I mean, I'm talking 20 minutes. It was wild. I had the whole south end of the lake, my area, to myself for the longest time. I was just passing guys like crazy. So still great rough water ride that Phoenix is known for. So not that big of a difference between the 21 and the 20. But yeah, other than that, really not a whole lot of differences between the two boats. You really don't notice it. So let's talk about this boat. If you guys are interested in potentially buying my 2025 boat, I'll mention this right off the bat. First off, listing it for $79,000. I am open to offers. And also, if you know somebody that might want to buy it, I'll give you $500 if you refer me to the person that eventually ends up buying it. So just a little incentive there. So let's do an overview. This is, again, 2025 920 Elite from Phoenix. We've got a Mercury Pro XS 250 on the back, 2025 model as well. It's got, the factory warranty for 3 years, and it's eligible for gold or the platinum. So I'm more than happy to negotiate to add, those warranty extensions on there. The engine has about 100 hours on it. I'm still going to fish out of it a little bit, so it may vary. It might get up to like 115 hours by the end of this month or November. And then we've got, twin power poles on the back. It's on a black Atlas. I need to clean it up. I'm sorry to show it to you. I've been using it. That's why. But and you can see here, very clean skeg, and so really lightly used, really good condition. Oil changes. All the maintenance has been done much sooner than the scheduled. The maintenance schedule in the manual. It's usually 100 hours. I've been changing it out at 50 hours. So we've already had 3 oil and lower unit changes on this, as well as the filters, because I also changed it at 15 hours after the initial break-in. So that's the back of the boat here. Let's go ahead and look in here. So we've got a Pro Guide 36 VM50 on this side, one over there, and then we also have the Pro Guide Alpha line lithium battery, the 31 M180 for my my cranking battery. That thing is awesome. I also keep a AGM battery in here as well, just as kind of a backup, but I don't have anything hooked up to it. It's almost just kind of as a little bit of ballast and a redundant system. Also have the area for the spare prop. I can negotiate whether or not we keep the spare prop in there. We've got the Power Pole 1 pump system for the poles, and we also have the charger from Pro Guide for all of those batteries. So all expertly installed by bassboatelectronics.com, as well as everything else on this boat. So you don't have anything to worry about as far as that goes. Now, moving forward, first thing I want to point out is something that's the elephant in the room. This is obvious. This right here is the Gator Step custom deck kit that I had put on here. Really cool. I will not have another bass boat without this if I can help it. Super great cushion. It looks cool, but the cushion is incredible. Like when you're out fishing on this all day, it's a huge difference between, you know, having this and just having the carpet. And as you can see, it is stuck on top of the carpet. This can be removed if you don't like it. No damage to the carpet underneath. Because it's a garage kept and all that, there's not going to be really hardly any discernible, you know, fading. I had already lifted up part of it and it's all in great condition. So that can be removed if you want. Also, I know that most people probably wouldn't want to buy it with my logo on it or even the Gator Step, you know, logo that big on it. So I talked to the folks at Gator Step, and for those panels, like that box right there, for those panels that are customized to me, they're more than willing to go ahead and swap these out with a customized version of your choosing. You can add logos to it, whatever you want to do. So this can be swapped out, or the whole thing can be removed. But this is like a $3,000 add-on, and I'm telling you, it sheds water way better than just regular carpet. It's way more cushion. It is the deal. Like, I love this deck kit, really do. So I would highly suggest keeping it, but totally understand if you want to change out the that. So I can do that for no additional cost, swap out those panels to make it customized for you. All right, so moving forward here, pretty much all standard Phoenix stuff. You can look at, you know, the Phoenix website and see, you know, how everything sets up. I will say that underneath, you know, the net holder, you can't use that to hold the net because we have the extra large Pro gas tank in here. So it's a bigger gas tank. I'm not even sure what it is. I think it's like close, I think it's like 60 or something like that. But I end up putting the bigger gas tank in here because I never use the net holder anyways. It's kind of in a funky spot for me, and I don't like getting all my stuff, all my hooks stuck on it there anyways. So anyways, we got the XL gas tank in here, which I think is better than having the net holder. You got all the compartments that Phoenix is known for. I even put this little cling bar on here. This is a magnetic bar. It's obviously covered in tackle and tools right now, but it's a really cool deal. The center box has the center rolling storage, so that's the add-on for that. It sits on top and floats on top of all the 3700 tackle box sections there, and so you can organize things on that. I love that. Another added, you know, extra that I always put on these boats is the slam lids. Those are awesome. So we've got the slam lids on there. What else do we got that you might need to know in this section? So over there at the console, let's walk over to the console real quick. We have, I'm replacing one of these little things for the windshield. The windshield's over here. So I'll put that back on. But we've got a stereo system. We got the Fusion stereo, or the Kicker stereo system there. 2 speakers, one on that side, one underneath there. We've got SmartCraft. We've got the blinker trim for the Atlas jack plate and also the trim. We've got obviously 2 GPS map 12-inch Garmin's, okay? Everything's linked together. It's a full Garmin system. We got another 12-inch on the front as well as the 16-inch, which I'll show you in a second. And those are hooked up to everything. I mean, you can see the status of the battery on these. You can see, you know, what the temperature of the live wells are. We dialed this in. I mean, it is a really cool system that Bass Boat Electronics worked on with this. And so top of the line electronics on Bass Boat Technologies mounts. Love these mounts and all that stuff. So then you got the power pole remote there as well. Moving forward, this is all pretty standard as far as the boxes, except for that sliding storage organizer in the middle. Of course, this boat has a power pole move on it. So the power pole move, this is the 50-inch version. So really good all around size, because the head is so small that the height of it, you know, back when I was using the Motor Guide Tour Pro, this is the same height as the 45-inch Motor Guide that I was using. But I can fish way rougher water with it. So this has been a great trolling motor this year. We've got a side scan and down scan transducer on there. I think it's side scan. I haven't used it, side view rather, for Garmin. And then we've got, of course, the LVS 34 transducer with this custom mount on there, which is great. So the power pole move, rock solid trolling motor, really happy with it. That's the setup for the 16 and the 12 that I have up here. This is for the live scope, obviously, and then this is for like mapping and down view and things like that. And then we have this custom puck holder, and then you got all the buttons that you got there. So, but man, I think that's pretty much it. I know I'm missing something. Oh yeah, the trailer. Trailer is in great condition. Of course, we have the trick step there. No damage at all to the trailer. All the tires are wearing evenly and are in great condition. Last year on my last boat that I sold, I had a little dent on one of the fenders. This doesn't have any dents, any bends, nothing like that. So great condition. But I think that's pretty much it, guys. It's a really good boat, and it is super, super dialed in and loaded with features overall. So anyways, just wanted to do this video about it. If anybody out there is interested in this 920 Elite, give me a shout. Send me an email at sonar@sonarfishing.com, or you can go to Bass Boat Central and get my information there. You'll see the boat here. Oh, we need to talk about the color. The color, so it's like silver and black. You can see the silver over there. I'll try to put a picture of what it looked like before I put the wrap on, because obviously we're going to be taking the wrap off. The wrap was put on before the boat was in the water. So this is what it looks like for a lot of it. And then there's accents of this like black silver flake as well. So really, really sharp boat color that I think works with a lot of different colored tow vehicles. It's a pretty universal color scheme. That's why I chose it. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. Find me a buyer. Again, I'll give you $500 if you find the buyer of this boat. I'd happily give you $500. So anyways, give me a shout, Bass Boat Central or Sonar@sonarfishing.com. Thank you for watching. I'm going to see you out in the water. Trust the process. Trust the process.